Well, I think seeing what others can do gives you the biggest evidence that you can do too, right? If others can do it, it means I can do it too. And I think the minute I came on Sheikh Zayed Road, from the airport going to my accommodation, I saw all the towers and I was like blown away. But also, apart from being so impressed, it also gave me the sense that there's so much more to life, like there's so much more that I can do. And when I was working in a fashion shop as a salesperson, I didn't want to be in between the four walls, and I started basically exploring other opportunities. And I did many interviews, and then I was accepted in one of the real estate companies. But because it's commission-based only, I couldn't leave the basic salary and go to commission-based. So I took my vacation. I worked for 1 month. I did few rentals. I felt that I could do it. And honestly, the minute I stepped into that shop, I saw what others were doing. I was like, none of them have wings. If they can do it, I can do it. Then I went back, I resigned. Fast forward, in 2009, I started the business. People think that I took a lot of risk starting in 2009. That was the peak of the global real estate crisis. For me, it wasn't. I'm not a risk taker, by the way. But for me, I looked around me and I saw all the infrastructure and the towers, and I thought, even if my job is to evacuate investors, I'll get wealthy in the process, right? And I thought it was a very rational decision for me to start. Again, fast forward now, it's been like 13, 14 years. Today, I think we're the largest real estate company in Dubai today. We have 600 people, 10 branches across the city, and we've done a lot of achievements throughout our journey. So basically, there's no right and wrong when it comes to success. It's not about how big or small your dream is, because everyone has the ability to dream and to set objectives in life. I feel where most people go wrong is that they set a certain objective and they either don't understand what kind of work and effort they have to put behind it, or they understand, but then they don't follow it with actions and work. And it's really important that when you set an objective, you have to understand what it takes to get there. And you have to kind of sign a contract with yourself that, you're gonna keep going and stay consistent until you get there. Because consistency is not about time frame. Consistency is about, you have to stay consistent until you get what you're after. That's what consistency is. And I don't believe so much in smart work and hard work. I think smart work is given. I think no one decides to wake up today, I work smart, tomorrow stupid. But hard work requires like a conscious decision. Like you need to decide that I'm gonna work hard and I'm gonna stay consistent in terms of the quality and the quantity of hours I put in. So in most books talk about the entry and how to buy and where to buy. In this book, I've mentioned everything any investor, or whether he's professional investor or new home buyer or even real estate agent, I think all stakeholders in the market can benefit from this book, because it talks about everything from entry to exit. And factoring your exit at the time you enter the market is extremely important. Whether you're an end user or you are an investor, still you always have to understand what kind of forecast you have in terms of the property value, the ability to exit, who's going to buy from you, who's going to rent from you. And of course, also we're in the era of data. So the book also talks about data and how to read and use data. In general, if you want to make the most accurate forecasts in life, you need the most accurate data, right? So how to read data and how to use it, and how can you base your decisions on statistics is also mentioned in a very practical way in the book. So there are many practical applications that investors can actually use in real life. It's not just lines of words. It took me 3 years because the real estate market is keeping me too busy. So busy. So whenever I'm on a flight or during the lockdown as well, I had quality time to write. Yeah. Well, I think despite where we are and what conditions we're under, we always have the ability to create value out of our time, right? And I think during the pandemic, I think it was a tipping point for me personally and for my business as well. I finished my book during the pandemic, and I finished the next 5 years plan during the pandemic with the team. And in 2021 has been a great year for us. We're 3 times the size of the company and the size of the business. So, and it's all because of what we did during the pandemic, and that gave us a head start, especially against those who, didn't do much during the pandemic. So whatever you did, your people did with their time during the pandemic, either worked for them as a head start or as a setback. I mean, especially for our business, we've been targeting scale over the last 2 years, and you cannot scale without tech, right? And the tech is coming anyway, so seeing it and adopting it early gives you a great edge over your competitors, and also gives you the ability to provide your investors with a great edge when it comes to making well-informed decisions. And I think it's been great for us. We've been investing in it for the past 6-7 years, so it wasn't like a 1-year thing. And it worked really well for us. Well, I think getting up in the morning and knowing what you're going after is extremely important. Because number one, I think it's a source of happiness. And number two, it keeps me excited. Yeah, so what's next for me is, I think, what I decided during the pandemic. We decided I had the options, because most of the people around me were talking about downsizing the business or closing down and focusing on other things. So I had that option, or I had the option to say I'm going to go 10x. So we were around 110 agents, or slightly less than that even. Today we're over 350. And we had only 3 offices. Today we have 10 offices and a head office. So our next this year will be Abu Dhabi before end of the year. And next year is to Saudi, definitely. And the minute China opens their door again, we'll resume what we did in China before. I think number one, don't follow the hype. You cannot make a purchase decision based on what you see on brochures and lifestyle images. Always study the overall market, but also go down the rabbit hole to understand what's happening in the community or the project you're buying. And make sure that you compare it with other projects, because if you want to understand the value of any product, you should always compare it to others and see which one gives you the best value for your dollar. And 3, make sure that you use data and statistics, because it becomes very, very unlikely for you to go wrong if you use data and statistics.